full on opposite of our C and S friends. Who has seen this in their workplace? Right? Okay. Who has seen it in their homes? Okay. I call when my wonderful husband starts to give me lots and lots and lots of details. I'm like, we just can't take the scenic route today. We need to get there straight away. What's the topic sentence and what am I listening for? So in the end, instead of feeling frustrated that I've got to moderate how it's most comfortable for me to communicate, because trust me, it takes some energy to moderate what's natural to you, we need to think about what the larger objective is. If it's selling, I can definitely moderate the way I'm going to communicate with somebody to get the sale made if it's appropriate. I'm not suggesting manipulation. Let me be clear on that. But I'm clear about making the sale and getting to the bank is the objective. If I don't want to send the charts and if I don't want to show up on time for that high C personality, I'm risking the relationship building. You know, that they will trust me and that they will feel comfortable with me. Make sense? Any questions so far? Yes?
Real quickly, if you're just having, if you've never met somebody and you're on the phone, what are like kind of just real quick things where you can spot somebody?
Ask them for directions. Ask them for directions. Your dominant personality style will be happy to hand you off to the secretary or tell you to look it up on the website, right? Your influencer, it goes something like this. Okay, you know when you're on Capitol of Texas and you're going like down Capitol of Texas and like Barton Creek Mall's on your right and then blah, 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 and lots of words for that high influencer, okay? S-style, you've really got to listen for their soft tonality with more space between the words. When you can't tell, it's usually an S-style. Your critical thinker, here's what they say. Okay, you need to go up 620 and after you pass 2222, 1.8 miles. No, wait a minute. 1.6 miles, you'll bend slightly to the this and that. I have a great critical thinker client who just gives the best directions ever. He's awesome, but sometimes he gives me so many that I'm overwhelmed because, again, I'm not the great with details. Okay? So I ask him for directions, and it's actually a pretty good thing. The louder tonalities, you can kind of tell you're getting to probably a D or an I. Listen to what they're talking about. Your dominants and your critical thinkers will be pretty task-oriented in what they discuss. Critical thinkers ask the most why questions. Dominants ask more what? What are we going to accomplish? Influencers, I love people, I love to be loved by people, popularity is important to me. What do we ask? Who? Who else is going to be there? Who knows about me, right? Who? And then your S styles, because their need-driven behavior, peace and stability, don't rock the boat. What do you think their question is? How are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? How did they do that? Right? They're your biggest buyers of the to-do books. Your S style. So did that help?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions right now before I go on? Okay. Now, let me ask a question. Yes.
A question about your graph. You have emotion next to each one of these that says one client says fear, dominant says anger, steadiness says what? Non-emotion, and influence says trust and optimism.
Go ahead.
Could you just help me understand what you mean by that?
Those are emotions that you can usually observe in them. Yeah, absolutely. Sure. No, thanks for asking. Which personality style is the best, or behavior style is the best?
DC.
Yeah. DC, what I know. What I am? No. Every personality or behavior style is completely valuable. You cannot have a good organization if you are missing the person who's going to do all of your analysis in detail and make sure you don't really screw up. D's and I's will run forward because it's a great idea and I'm 80% of the way there, and can skip the due diligence that maybe could protect them from a particular situation that wouldn't in the end be good. I've done it personally. I don't know about the rest of you if you're relating to this. On the other hand, C's and S's who may be always restrained from moving forward because they're so concerned about the consequences benefit from having their friends here, the D's and I's, are going to say, we're moving forward, we're getting it done, we've done enough research, and it's time to move forward on this objective. So every personality style brings real strength to your organization. If you're lucky enough to have all in your family, although it might be frustrating when you want to know what time it is, in the end, it's actually a real positive. I have people ask me, and there's nothing scientific here, is what makes the best marriages? Go find a marriage counselor for that. But it is interesting, opposite attracts. I know a lot of people who have married their complete opposites, and as a result, have a little more balance in the way that their family approaches things they would. But then sometimes you're going to find the families where they might share one quadrant, and then maybe be high on an opposite. Rarely do I see the identical get married. But here's something that happens so often in companies. Let's assume you have a company who is founded by a very techie guy. He's brilliant, he's got tremendous software, hardware expertise, and has built a company. Who do you think he tends to hire? A bunch more critical thinkers. What do you think happens to him in sales? It's a problem. They want to tell all about the details where they're so enamored of their product or service because it's the coolest thing technologically, but they are not really good at looking more at the big picture and selling to these personality styles. So a lot of times you'll find companies where you are clustered very heavily with one personality style, and typically it is showing up negatively somewhere within the corporation. Typically, it's showing. On the other hand, if you have a bunch of DIs and there are a bunch of sales guys got together, founded a company, they might be doing just great on good ideas, and maybe they're selling a lot, but nothing's been built for the last 3 months, and nobody can find their files, right? So is this hitting home for anybody? Yeah. So an interesting thing, this is based on lots and lots of research, lots of smart guys who have lots of degrees, psychologists, psychiatrists, who've contributed to this DISC model. But it's interesting to me that the things that we are taught here about how we need to learn to interact with others, how we need to communicate others, we're going to find some of those things back in the Proverbs. If any of you have not gotten to read the book about the richest man in the world, Solomon, it has great information with scriptures that reference almost everything I've just taught you, and find it so interesting that we can look back there and find that type of information. It's a great business book. It's written from a business perspective. I'd recommend you guys get it if you've got an interest in it. Another thing to keep in mind is that a dominant and a dominant speaking together. They're going to be short, to the point, maybe abrupt, and I'll tell you, if the conversation escalates and they kind of get loud in a fight, it's all okay about 10 minutes later. It is no problem. That was just a good conversation as far as they're concerned. Now then, this happens a lot in companies. We have a high dominant leading a company. And he or she is a little worked up about something or just wanting to get something done. If they take that overly direct, very loud, I want it done